Hey guys, Brad here from Strategy Guide Reviews. I saw Carrie and Chris having so much fun doing video reviews that I decided I wanted to do one too. So today we're going to talk about Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Yeah, check that out. That's pretty cool, right? And here on the back you get this cool 5. Yeah, I like that a lot. So this is a very meaty guide. It's good for referencing. It's also good for killing spiders or beating rowdy neighbors or children about the head and shoulders. It is over 400 pages thick. As you can see, there's no leaf along the side to reference missions, side missions, things like that. We're going to get into why that's sort of a big deal shortly, but first let's kind of dive in, go through the book, and talk about sort of what's going on, what's cool, and what could use some work. The first thing you'll notice when you crack this bad boy open is that it's got a good 50 pages of introduction, and it is very, very text heavy. Look at that. Whew. Look at all those words. So many words, you guys. So 50 pages of words, wordy words that are wordy. They cover everything in the game from basics to the more complicated, nuanced stuff. Some of the new systems, some tips on sneaking, some tips on the day and night cycles, a few basic hints on how to run Motherbase and how to manage your resources. And then there's a lot of things in here they reference and say, we'll talk more about this later, or see this section of the guide for more, which means that there are more words on top of these words to explain things in the back of the book, and we'll get to those too. They also like to point out that this is an open world game, so everything they suggest you don't have to do, which kind of defeats the purpose of a guide, I think, but they do a good job of explaining, like, okay guys, here's how we're going to do it, here's what we think you should do in this mission, but feel free to experiment and do your own thing. They make it very clear very early that they're not going to give you a step-by-step walkthrough of how to do every single mission, so it's good to have that expectation set. So once you get through all of the guide, you finally get to the actual walkthrough itself, and this is really cool how they do the walkthroughs. They're super visual, so this is just the first mission to give you an example of what they look like. You can see that they're really, really focused on screenshots and focused on sort of the opposite of what you've been seeing, a lot of text. They're trying to be more visual. So I want to go through a really quick rundown of a couple things that I really like about how they do these missions, and show you what I think is the strongest parts of the strategy guide. So this is one of the smaller missions in the game. This takes place in one of the areas. It's a very specific short mission. And you can see it's pretty much just this one page, and then I'm going to poke my head around the side here so I can see while I talk to you. You get this really good visual of your objective area, and then over here on this side, you kind of get these notes and this information on what you need to do to progress. And then up in this box, this little black box up here, they tell you what your objectives are going to be, and then best of all, which ones you can and can't complete on your first run. So a lot of the times you're going to get into a mission and there's going to be stuff that you just can't do yet because you don't have the equipment. So that little black box right up here is going to tell you which ones you can and can't complete. So another example of what I like about how they do the missions are, if you get really close here, you might be able to see these green arrows and dots that run from the boxes to the map, and then also those yellow numbers down there that are on the map. So those all correspond directly. So if they have a little green line, they'll tell you, okay, go to this area, here's a screenshot of what you're going to be looking at there, or here's what you should be looking out for the objective. The little yellow numbers are reference points back to the walkthrough telling you, go here, do this. We recommend that you take it in this order. So it's really helpful the way they do these small missions. They keep them pretty condensed, so they're down to 1 or 2 pages. The bigger, more complicated story-driven missions, they give you a little bit more information, which is really, really helpful. So, like, for example, the next mission in this particular chain is a story mission, and you start, again, with that overview of the map, some, the box, some general tips and information. But then in this specific mission, there's a boss fight. So the next page, they say, well, we suggest that you fight the boss here, and here's the map of the area, and here's some more information on the side that you'll want to know. Get ready to fight the boss. And then what I find the most helpful of all, here's a whole section devoted to just the boss fight. And this gets wordy again, but lots of pictures to correspond with it, telling you tactics, strategies, things you should and shouldn't do, giving you a really good breakdown of the battle to come. So I really like what they do with the main missions in the guide. They're concise, but they're helpful, and I found them to be mostly accurate. There have been a couple times where I run into something that has been sort of, I'm not sure if they got that part right, but I can chalk that up more to the game being so open than to any screw ups on the writer's part. So you have all 50 missions covered in the walkthrough, and then once you get through that, we have the whole section devoted to the side ops and the extra stuff in the back. Here's an example of the side ops page. It's a really quick one screenshot, a little paragraph of text there to break down what you need to do to complete a side quest. So they run through every single side quest in the game. They give you, once in a while, they give you these little call-out boxes when you get to a specific side quest type, or if they feel like you need to know more information, they'll give you a little call-out box there to help you progress through. So that's helpful to have. And then if it's a side quest that triggers like a story spoiler or something like that, they'll also give you a little spoiler warning in the box. So overall, really helpful section to have. The big problem again though is because, like I said, there's no reference points on the side. You have to manually throw in a bookmark or dog ear it or do something to keep track of where you're on in the book, which can be kind of frustrating. It'd be nice to have like a visual reference point and not have to stick things in my book to know where I'm going. Keep it looking clean. But c'est la vie. After that, there's this whole big section on Motherbase, and this to me is where the guide starts to kind of lose some of its luster. In the name of being thorough, they give you these really, really long, really, really in-depth, really, really complicated sections. So, for instance, in your team and unit functions on Motherbase, you get, oh boy, it's just a spreadsheet. There's just words and lines and graphs, and for the most part, it's not incredibly helpful. And then once you get through all the words and lines and graphs, hey, look, more words and a couple of pictures, but whew, lots and lots and lots and lots of text, you guys. You get into weapons development and, well, just general development in general, and then, hey, more tables. Oh boy, that's fun. I like to reference tables. Oh boy. Yeah, so these sections are handy to reference quickly, but they're not great to just sit and try to read through. It's really, really dense and just really like painful on the eyes to try and get through this. One section I do like that's back here in the back is the buddy system, where they tell you kind of who your buddies are going to be, how to unlock them, how to increase your bond with them. You have to be careful. I'm not going to hold anything up to show it because there are spoilers. There might be buddies that you haven't run into yet. You get later in the game, so I won't show anything from that section. But it's nice to know how to unlock the different buddies throughout the game, and then what you can do to increase your bond, develop new gear for them, make them more effective. So I do like that bit, but for the most part, here's the whole section on the guns. It's just, little tiny numbers on little tiny pages that are going to make your eyes sort of glaze over pretty quickly. So that bit, not so great. Moving on, there's a lot of stuff that you'll learn kind of as you play the game they bring up in the book. Like, here's a whole section on the enemies, and this page right here is an example of like how close you can get before they can spot you. You kind of learn that by yourself as you play. It's just sort of something you pick up as you go. You know how close you get to an enemy before they start to suspect you. I guess it's nice to have, but I feel like if you're at page 290 of this book, you've probably been playing enough that you don't really need that information. So it's there, but I don't find it particularly helpful. Just lots and lots of information on the scoring system, on the bosses, the buddies, like I said, the cassette tapes you can find, the animals. There's a whole page about the animals you can pick up. I guess that's helpful, maybe. I've never really found a good use for that, but it's better to have the information, I guess, than to not have it. And then this section I won't show you because it's so spoiler-filled, except for this page. Just extras. Oh, stuff and things and stuff, you guys. This is a really cool segment of the book, but I can't show it to you because it is spoiler upon spoiler upon spoiler. They're just, oh my goodness, so many. Character spoilers, story spoilers, in-depth biographies of all the characters, a timeline. Let's show it quick. Oh, now take it away before you can read it. Don't screen cap that. Don't do it. But anyway, the events of the game, of the whole series, really, really good in-depth character profiles, just a lot of cool stuff back here that you shouldn't read until you're done with the game. So, a really great section of the book that may take you 6 months to actually check out because this is the long game. But then, and then after that is this really cool artwork gallery. So there's a lot of concept art from the game. some stuff they you'd see at the halls of Konami, I would imagine, if you were walking around checking out kind of development. Little quotes from Kojima along the way. So let me find a good non-spoiler page here so you can check out all the Kojima quotes. That was a spoiler. I get ready to hold the book up and that's a spoiler. Okay, here we go. So Miller, you know him right from the get-go. And then down here in the corner, little blurb from Kojima. That's nice, especially since he might not be working on the games so much anymore. So yeah, enjoy that. We might not be seeing those ever again. But yeah, just a cool finishing section. Again, a little bit sad you won't get to check it out till the very end unless you just don't mind spoilers, but still, a neat thing. One other thing that comes with the guide that I will show you, and you're going to not be able to see me at all when I start showing it to you, is this giant map. Oh boy. So this side is Afghanistan, as you can see up there in the corner, just barely in frame. And then if I flip it around, there's Africa and Motherbase. So basically this is designed to show you, so put that over there for now, just stay. So yeah, that is there to show you essentially where all the collectibles are, where all the medical plants are, how to find your way around everywhere. It's not that helpful just because if you played the game for any length of time, you know that you will get an intel team that will spot all the plants for you. As you're reconning bases, you're going to tag a lot of those resource containers. So you don't really need the map. It's just sort of, I've been using it as a bookmark. I don't find it super helpful. I think I pulled it out for about 10 minutes when I started the game. It's so big and unwieldy that it's kind of not handy to use as a reference tool. But again, they give you way too much information, so you have a 3-foot tall map. And that's sort of a theme of this guide. It is so comprehensive that it is verbose to a fault. There's a lot of stuff in there that I feel like they could have trimmed away or trimmed down. It's a really good guide with a lot of great information, but it goes into so much detail about every little thing that it makes it really hard to find anything you're looking for. And then, so again, you kind of you're trying to find anything in this book, and you're basically going to the table of contents, looking at a page number, and then flipping, and just, trying to be like, oh, okay, where's the side quests? Are they back here somewhere? And, oh, I went too far, and now I'm in the spoilers, so crap, now I gotta look away real quick before I get to that. Okay, I'm in the side ops missions, but I don't remember which one I wanted to get specifically, so I gotta flip around and try to find it. It's too much. It's a guide that does its job well, if its job is to teach you how to beat the game and achieve everything you can along the way, but it's overwhelming. So, with that being said, very cool, well put together guide. It's a little bit too much though. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5, but hey, still pretty cool. And I want that red hand. Oh, so sexy. All right, bye guys.